God had a very busy week ahead of him. On the first day, God said, "Let there be a lot of light and darkness, and I will name the light as day, and the darkness as the night." And it happened exactly as he said. On the second day, God decided that there should be an infinite amount of space all around the earth he was planning to create. He decided to call the sky heaven. On the next day, he created seas and land with mountains, rivers, lakes, and ponds. He made the plants, grass, and fruits that would grow in the soil. The following day, he gave a final touch to the light and darkness by creating millions and billions of stars. The next day was very important to God. This was the day he created fish, aquatic animals, and birds. He wanted numerous little creatures, and that's why there are millions of fish in the oceans and birds flying in the sky. He slept peacefully that night. The next morning, he had an amazing plan to come up with animals that would roam the land. He said, "Today, I shall create all the animals for the beautiful land. If there is time left, then I shall create a man that can be just like me." He thought that this plan was a very good idea. This was the seventh day, a Sunday. Since he worked very hard for 7 days, God was very tired, and he decided to rest on that day. While he was resting, he decided to go to Earth and make the most beautiful garden. He named it the Garden of Eden. The garden was filled with wonderful flowers and trees, and it has thousands of animals and birds running around. He created the first man out of clay, breathed life into him, and called him Adam. God then told him, "Now listen, Adam, you can climb the trees, eat the fruits, jump over the bushes, and paddle in the river. But there is one thing you must never do. Never eat the apples from that large tree at the center of the garden." Soon God realized that Adam was lonely as he was only one of his kind, so he used one of Adam's ribs to create a wife for him, the first woman, whom he called Eve. Adam and Eve were very happy. They lived a beautiful life in the Garden of Eden. They had animals to talk to and various trees to eat fruits from. God had asked them to eat fruits from the tree of life, but never from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. One day, while they were walking along the center of the garden, there was a beautiful apple hanging on the forbidden tree. A snake was also resting on that tree, and he said, "Why don't the two of you eat this apple? It is the biggest, nicest, and juiciest apple I have ever seen." Adam was worried and informed the snake that God had told them never to eat anything from that tree. The snake tried to brush away their fears and worries by saying that they had nothing to worry about, and encouraged them to take a bite. He even said that they would gain God's wisdom by eating the fruits of this tree. Eve believed the snake's lies and looked at the juicy apple. She plucked the apple from the tree and took a bite. As the fruit was delicious, she insisted Adam take a bite. Initially, Adam refused to do so, but when he was convinced that Eve did not die of eating that fruit, he took a bite too. Suddenly, they realized that they were naked. They covered their bodies with the leaves of the trees. All this happened on the day God visited the garden, and when they heard him coming their way, they felt bad for disobeying him. God knew of their wrong deed and was angry and disappointed with them. Adam told God that he ate the fruit on Eve's insistence, and Eve brushed it off on the snake, but both had disobeyed God. God punished Adam and Eve by banishing them from the Garden of Eden and said that they would have to live a hard life out of paradise. After a great storm, he went back to heaven, leaving a flaming sword to make sure that nobody on the planet ever touched the tree again. The end.